We are ready whenever you are ready. All right, folks.
I strongly believe that people, to be involved in politics, they need to vote. And not everyone goes out and votes because they're not informed. And I think that a majority of that is based on campaign politics, because it's hard to believe in what information you're going to get is true or not, and whether what's on TV is actually what's going on. And because of all the negative ads that have been going around and they've become more important, it's really hard to get people to go out and vote. And that's a really important step in our society. For the military, coming from a military family, in some states where military families vote, their residency isn't always where they vote. And so sometimes their vote doesn't count. And ultimately that's their chief in command. And it's really hard to say that since their vote doesn't count, people like my mom, who's in the military, her vote doesn't count. So she ultimately doesn't get to decide who's going to be in charge of her in the military, where she goes, if she gets deployed, anything like that. And people take for granted that they can go out and vote. So our society is supposed to run on democracy, but how much of that do people really take advantage of? We have the right for free speech and to go out, vote, to decide who's going to run our country, but a lot of people don't take advantage of that. Because we have a two-party system pretty much right now, which we're not supposed to have, people really don't have a ultimate freedom, because they're either choosing this person or this person from the parties. So theoretically, we're supposed to have the choice of anybody that wants to run that's going to better our society. But with the two-party system, we're pretty much picking the lesser of two evils. Someone who's going to do this for our country or this, which one's going to screw it up the worst. And the campaign process, a lot of the time, they use images like this to try and get empathy from the voters, to try and take a side with whoever the cartoonist made the picture. Like, they want you to take the side with Obama, who's trying to fix the country. A lot of people don't vote because they don't think that their vote counts, because they think the Electoral College is just going to pick whoever they want. But in reality, they're supposed to pick who the popular vote is in that state, which happens a lot of the time. During the campaign process of this year, pretty much all the campaign ads were negative, which that doesn't make people want to go out and vote, because they don't know who's the lesser, they don't know who's going to actually do anything because they didn't talk about it. Politicians pretty much spend their entire time trying to hide what they actually believe and try and say whatever the media or the people want to hear, instead of talking about what they're actually going to do. So they pretty much just say whatever they want people to hear. Everything that, for this picture, they have broken down into how many lies and the truths that each candidate told. And pretty much everything that Romney said compared to what Obama said was about the same in truth and lies. For this is one of the negative campaign ads that they had, and it pretty much shows Obama being stoic and talking about how Romney shouldn't run the country because he doesn't talk about anything about how our country is supposed to be. And this is pretty much the same type of ad, and it's using the opposite effect of using Romney and comparing the same amount of information just in a more negative light, because it's not showing comparison, it's just showing purely negative. A lot of people, when going to vote, they didn't watch the debates because there were so many ads on that pretty much was against the other candidates. So why watch the debate if they're just going to sit there and point fingers at who's better than this? And pretty much all the campaign ads are going negative. There's less truthful ads that are just positive, purely about one candidate, and there's even less comparative ads, which makes the brain think, well, this person's better because of this. In a negative ad, that's not what happens. During the campaign, pretty much all they did was point fingers at each other and try and put the blame on the other person, instead of saying, well, I'm going to do this for the country and I'm going to do that. They just sat there and said, well, he's not going to do this, so you should vote for me. And I don't think that should be how our government's ran. George Washington warned against the two-party system because he knew it wouldn't work. Parties don't work. You're pretty much voting for this person or this person because they're not going to do this. So, the two-party system just really needs to go. it's not something that's helping our country. It's pretty much breaking down, making people not want to vote, which is pretty much releasing democracy in our country. Because if you can't vote for this person or this person because of a political party that you don't agree with. I pretty much believe that I don't agree with either party. I pretty much vote with who I think is going to do less evil to our country and who's going to repair it in the end. So, pretty much it.
All right, good job, Faith. All right, so let's open it up. Any questions for Faith about the two-party system? So, Faith, if you were to take a guess, how many parties do you think we should have?
I don't think that we should have any parties. Like, I've read pretty much the George Washington thing. He warned, the very first president of our country warned against two-party systems or any parties because he knew that they wouldn't work because people are just fighting over who's going to do better or worse, and it's not getting anything done. It's just basically this guy did this and this guy did this, but they have all the money, so they're not going to do what's better. They just want to win. So which party's better? And there's no party that's better. I think that we need someone who's going to do different aspects of each party that's going to improve our country overall.
Good, good. Any other questions for Faith? Anybody? Yes, sir.
I don't know where I'm going with this.
Go ahead.
But what do you think would happen if there were a lot more parties? Because I mean, I know of other countries, like I think it's like Sweden has like 7 political parties and some have like 13. They do fine. Like there are no big issues. Do you think it's just because there are two big sides?
I think if we had more of an option, then maybe it would be better. But just basically the two-party system, the Republicans and the Democrats, there's a lot of issues that are still in the middle that neither one of them touch, which seems to be the big issue for everybody during the political campaigns. They won't touch those issues because they don't want to say anything about them because they don't want people not to vote for them. So we need to make it so that everything that's wrong with our country that needs to be fixed actually gets fixed instead of just going around in circles and talking about it every campaign.
Great question. Yes, sir.
Do you think, though, if we lost the party system, like, it takes a lot of money to run for president? Like, it would just be rich people still running for president, and it'd still just be as corrupt as it is today.
Had less, like, negative campaign ads and just purely showing, like, debates and stuff like that. Yeah, you need to campaign, but going to, like, different cities and stuff like that, I don't think it would cost as much as a lot of the money that they spend is on, like, negative campaign ads and showing that the other person hasn't done this. They don't show what they're actually going to do anymore. It's pretty much, they're not going to do this, so you should vote for me anyway. So I think that they'd spend less money if there are more parties trying to, like, go everywhere and speak. I think they would show more of that and less of the political ads, which people don't even watch to begin with.
Oh, good questions. Good question, folks. All right, Faith, thank you very much. And I will